right now.
The #1 health and wellness podcast.
Jay Shetty.
Jay Shetty.
On Purpose with Jay Shetty comes to Phoenix.
I just want to be everyone's friend. I just want to be the friend that can help you out when you're struggling.
The best-selling author and podcast host teases his brand new tour and reveals the things you don't know about him. What does your wife get mad at you about? Plus, in the chat this week, what are your thoughts about reboots? Remakes like TV shows, music, even songs are being recycled. And then an Olympic legend on the court.
I just overhear someone say, "Is that the crazy one?" And I want to be like, wait, I'm actually not that crazy.
Tennis star Bethanie Mattek-Sands on embracing the whispers and serving in more ways than one. This brand new Arizona's Family original with me, Yetta Gibson, starts right now.
Don't put deadlines and timelines on your hopes and dreams. Keep moving at your own pace, in your own time, because your time is coming.
I love it. Some words of wisdom there from Jay Shetty, the man whose goal is to make the world a better place, more healed, more connected. I felt that in just a half an hour that I spent with him. We really need more people like him. A recent study making headlines for its report on loneliness. It was published in the Medical Journal of Aging and Mental Health, and it found the U.S. and the Netherlands were the only two countries where loneliness peaked in middle age rather than in seniors. And loneliness can have some pretty big impacts. In 2023, the former U.S. Surgeon General warned loneliness poses risks as deadly as smoking up to 15 cigarettes a day. It's examples just like this that fuel Jay Shetty to make everyone feel like they have someone in their corner. So he's bringing the meaningful conversations you hear on his podcast to you live. I caught up with him ahead of his stop in the Valley. You know, this is probably going to be very revealing about me, but do you ever have a moment when you're like, oh, everything's annoying, everybody's annoying, or is that just me and I need to work on that? When you got the ultimate life coach, you've got to ask, right? In all honesty, the conversation between Jay and I flowed like a friend asking their very, very wise friend for insight.
Jay Shetty. Jay Shetty.
The one, the only Jay Shetty.
Jay Shetty, the name and face now synonymous with an award-winning podcast host, New York Times best-selling author, former monk, and purpose-driven entrepreneur. But as I learned, Jay doesn't necessarily consider himself any of those titles.
Yeah, it's really interesting, isn't it? Our roles, they almost define us so much today, but truly I see those roles as vehicles.
Okay.
They're just formats and mediums to reach people. If someone asked me who I am or what I am, I'd say I'm a human who's committed to helping people find their purpose and live a meaningful life. And so I'm not an author, and I'm not a podcaster, and I'm not any of those things.
Yeah.
They're just the way today to connect with humanity.
That form of connection is central to Jay's mission. In his book, Think Like a Monk, Jay details attending a monk's lecture who spoke of selflessness and living a minimalist lifestyle. Following that lecture, Jay decided to spend his summers living with monks in India before eventually going into monkhood. And this was an unconventional route for him. In the same book, Jay says he grew up in a family where you could only become one of three things: a doctor, a lawyer, or a failure. Still, Jay followed his intuition, living a life of peace and mindfulness. 3 years later, he made the decision to leave and share what he learned with the world. Why do you want to help people? Why is this your mission?
I always like to demystify it, because I almost think about it like if you just saw a really good movie, wouldn't you just want to tell everyone about it? When I first got introduced to Eastern wisdom of the Vedas, which is 5,000 years old, that's how I felt. I felt like somebody who just watched the best movie of all time. And I wanted every single person to hear it. If you found insights and habits that could truly inspire and change someone's life, why would you not want everyone to have them? I feel it would be a disservice to not share it. And I really believe it's a responsibility to want to share all of this wisdom with everyone I can possibly meet. And then now, having done that for many years, my why is the amazing stories I get to hear. Right. So someone will come up to me at an airport and say, Jay, you know, your book helped me get through my breakup. Oh, yeah. Or Jay,
that
the podcast.
was me, Jay. That was me.
Right. Yeah. Like, and that is why I do what I do now.
Jay Shetty now has the #1 health and wellness podcast in the world, where celebrities, athletes, doctors, and thinkers go to dive into central issues. Whether you know it or not, many of his posts, like this, probably pop up on your feed.
It's people saying to me, Jay, I didn't commit suicide because of listening to something like that. That's what is my why now, is realizing that there are so many people out there in the world who have so many beautiful lives to live and mean so much to so many people. And if my work can help them at a difficult time, then I feel like the luckiest person on the planet.
The On Purpose podcast and his 2 books let people into Jay's world and thoughts on just about every topic you can imagine. From advice on love, friendship, conflict, or work, there's probably an On Purpose episode about that topic. Jay is headed to 15 cities, bringing the same experience you get in your earbuds to the stage.
I want to give people really practical, actionable tools that are so important for right now. We all need a pattern interrupt. Our thoughts get into a pattern of thought of like, I can't achieve this year, or this is not possible for me this year, or I'll wait till next year. I want to interrupt that thought pattern and give people the tools to make 2025 the best year of their life, even if I'm seeing you in the middle of the year. I'm just looking forward to looking into people's eyes, giving them a hug, holding their hands.
Yeah.
Like, I love being present with people. Right. And I think the energy in a room is so different.
Yeah.
We've all got used to doing this, but I remember going into a venue where there'd be 2 people in a room or 5 people in a room, and that's where I started. And so for me, when I'm in this room with thousands of people, I'm just visualizing it being 5 so that everyone can have this really intimate, connected experience. And I'm excited for people to walk into a theater where they look left and right and they're surrounded by like-minded people. Like the person sitting next to you listens to the same podcast every week.
Right, and the
You're
goal
gonna have
is
so
the
much
same.
in common. Yeah. You're gonna walk out with a new friend, maybe a new boyfriend or girlfriend. Like, you can walk out with your future partner. Like, that's what I'm excited about.
And he's bringing a few special guests along too. And I tried to pull clues out of him, but
no clues into who the 15 people are in the 15 cities. Are they catered to the cities?
all I can say is that my wife may make a special appearance at one of the cities.
We love her. We're big fans of her as well. To me, you're one in a million. To people who listen to your works, you're a solid person, one of one. So what would people be shocked to know about you behind the scenes of what you do?
What would people be shocked to know? That's an interesting one. The reason why I make a lot of videos with my wife and content with her is just to remind people that I'm also just normal and human and do silly things and make mistakes.
Yeah,
and my wife
you need those kind of people. You need those kind of people.
Yeah, my wife gets mad at me and, she has to tell me things 7 times before I remember them. And, all the rest of it. And that's one of the reasons why we share a lot of the behind the scenes, because I think in the past, if you were a teacher or a guide or sharing insight, there was this distance. And I don't like that, because I just want to be everyone's friend.
What does your wife get mad at you about?
Oh, you'll have to ask her that. She probably has a long list. Probably the usual stuff, like leaving my shoes at the door.
Oh, typical man stuff.
It's the usual stuff.
I got it. Jay Shetty leaves his shoes everywhere, folks.
And back to that initial exchange of a friend asking another very, very wise friend for advice.
Do you ever have a moment when you're like, oh, everything's annoying, everybody's annoying? Or is that just me and I need to work on that?
Well, let's just say the advice is just as sound as you would expect.
No, I think you're speaking of everyone. I've definitely had that experience. I try and spend a lot of time alone when I feel that way.
Okay.
And I think I'm the kind of person that would cancel plans go away, like hide away in my home for a weekend, whatever it takes to really regenerate. And I think that's just a sign that it's your body and mind telling you, I need to regenerate. Because here's the reality. When you've slept well, you can take any annoyance. When you're taking care of your health and your diet and your workout and everything, you can take on so much more stress. And so as soon as you find yourself losing that tolerance or that ability, it's just a reminder to say, all right, it's time for me to calm down. So I see it more as a signal and a sign of me needing to slow down.
Slow it down.
Than it is a sign of me being weak or wrong or a bad person. It's just my body and mind saying, you've been overextending yourself.
Now it's time. It's like a signal.
Exactly.
I love Jay Shetty. Tickets for his show in Phoenix are still available. The On Purpose Tour Live makes a stop at the Arizona Financial Theater Saturday, May 31st. In the chat this week.
Is originality dead in entertainment? Producers being lazy or really creative in bringing these shows back, the music back, and making it new?
And the tennis star living here in Arizona.
Nobody, I think, thought I could come back to tennis. I'll get more emotional about that match than I will winning my gold medal.
Bethanie Mattek-Sands on her grit, ambition, and one-of-a-kind style on and off the court. That's all coming up on this episode of Arizona's Family Original with me, Yetta Gibson.
There are legends of people with the gift of making music so true. It can conjure spirits from the past and the future. This gift can bring fame and fortune.
Will somebody take me in your eyes?
But it also can pierce the veil between life and death.
That is the box office hit Sinners, starring Michael B. Jordan and Hailee Steinfeld. This is a horror film. It's garnered big numbers in movie theaters across the country and critical acclaim for its originality. And all of this got me thinking about the future of the summer blockbuster. So I had to bring all of this online to you to get your thoughts.
What are your thoughts about reboots? Remakes like TV shows, music. For example, The Equalizer, Matlock, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I think it's called Bel-Air. Even songs are being recycled. You know how sometimes you hear the song come on and you're like, oh my gosh, let me turn it up. Like Luther, for instance. I'm like, oh, I love this song. And then Kendrick Lamar starts rapping. I love the song, but stuff like that. Is originality dead in entertainment? Producers being lazy or really creative in bringing these shows back, the music back, and making it new? Talk to me in the chat.
All right, you did talk to me in the chat, and here are some of your replies. Reboots, nope. Reboots don't work for me. Remixes, yes, absolutely, as long as the remix is well done. Another one of you said, hard to say. It's creative if it resonates, but lazy if it doesn't. So joining me today to dive into all of the things is director and writer at Squishy Studios, Nathan Blackwell. By the way, you just got a write-up in the New York Times.
Yeah, our film did.
Congratulations. What is the film and what did they say about you there?
So our movie, which was shot locally, is called The Last Movie Ever Made. And
that's some title.
And they spotlighted it as one of the movies to stream this month.
Yeah, that must have been cool for you.
Yeah, that was surprising. I mean, we didn't even like slip it to someone, or it was just out of the blue.
It just popped up. Okay, we're gonna link where you can watch that for folks who are wondering. Okay, let's talk about the reboot remixes, the thing we just talked about online. How do you feel about it all?
Yeah, I mean, I think audiences are getting tired of all these. It's the studios are kind of risk averse. Like they're worried about taking like all these chances now. And so they want to, it's like, there's a TV show called The Studio with Seth Rogen, and there's a whole gag where they're basically taking an IP that people know about that has no story, which is Kool-Aid, you know?
So why is this happening? I mean, you were getting to it just a second ago. Are they running out of ideas? Are they lazy? Are they just going with what people liked and going, okay, they like that, let's do it again?
If it has any kind of like pre-marketing knowledge. You know, they're trying to hedge their bets, and they want to make as much money as possible.
Okay, yeah.
And they're not taking chances. You know.
And how do you feel about that as a person in the business, in the industry?
You know, so I loved Sinners. Like I loved the Barbenheimer summer.
Yeah.
And I think audiences are really hungry for like fresh originality. They're hungry they want to go to the theater and see something that is like that everyone is talking about.
Right.
That is new and exciting.
But it sounds like the producers and directors are afraid to try something new.
No, it's the studios. It's the people who are cutting the checks.
So you're saying take the chance because people are hungry
the filmmakers, they want to tell original material.
The studios want to be
safe. But if the people cutting the checks aren't giving them, so
there you have it, guys, from the person in the industry. Now we know. I mean, some of them I must admit. Let's talk about what you do at Squishy.
At Squishy Studios, So, basically, that's the name of my production company. We do genre comedy. And so we used to do a web series called Voyage Trekkers, which was a sci-fi comedy. But yeah, now we're kind of doing, feature films. So we did 2 years ago at the Phoenix Film Festival, we had our feature, the last movie ever made, and yeah, it's tough. Micro budget films are tough, because no one makes any money.
But you're doing well. You got a write up. We've got about 20 seconds. Tell me about that film that got the write up in the Times.
Oh, thank you. So it's a sci-fi comedy, and so our main character, who's like pushing 40, when he finds out the world is coming to an end. And he decides the thing that's going to give his life some meaning is to finish his sci-fi movie from high school.
Oh, stop it right there. And where can we watch it?
So you can rent it on Amazon, Apple, or you can watch it with Tubi with ads. So
thank you so much. Thank you for your insight. It's very interesting. I appreciate you being here. All right, here's what's coming up.
I just overhear someone say, "Is that the crazy one?" And I want to be like, wait, I'm actually not that crazy.
An icon on and off the tennis court. Coming up next, Olympic gold medalist Bethanie Mattek-Sands dishes on her style, her attitude that's become a staple of her sport, and she opens up about the man she married after only 3 dates. Bethanie Mattek-Sands, a hotshot who's grabbed headlines for serving sheer amazingness on the court. She's an Olympian, a Grand Slam winner, a doubles champ, dubbed once or twice as the flamboyant one, and the Lady Gaga of tennis. Did I mention she also calls Arizona home? In tonight's Not Done Yetta, Bethanie lets us into her world in more ways than one.
I was walking around at the tournament in Indian Wells in Palm Springs, and just overhear someone say, "Is that the crazy one?" And I want to be like, wait, I'm actually not that crazy. But I take it in stride. I would say if you had met me when I was younger, I was a little bit more reserved, a little more self-conscious. When I met my husband, I think he sort of saw it dive into the rough a little bit too, and he really encouraged me to sort of be the girl and the woman that he saw behind the scenes. We met when we were young, early 20s, 22, got married when we were 23, went on 3 dates, got engaged. It was a very...
Whoa, back the truck up. 3 dates, and who knew? Both of you?
3 dates, girl.
We'll get back to that in a bit. Over the course of her career, the former #1 ranked double player has racked up 9 Grand Slam titles and an Olympic gold medal. But it's a 2017 match at Wimbledon that still gives her chills.
I probably dropped more F-bombs than anyone ever has on the courts at Wimbledon. It was excruciating and scary.
And what actually happened?
All I felt was my knee bend the wrong way. I heard something. And it just it was like slow motion, as if I was just like, is that me? I looked down and my kneecap was in my quad.
Bethanie says that day led to one of the shining moments of her career.
I remember it was a match in Charleston. It was the first match that I won after my comeback, when nobody, I think, thought I could come back to tennis. I'll get more emotional about that match than I will winning my gold medal.
And I probably shouldn't even ask you this on TV.
It's okay, I'm ready. I'm good.
Was there ever a moment when you were like, screw this tennis crap?
Oh, hell yeah. I really had to work through my emotions around how tight tennis was to my personal identity.
A well-known badass on the court, she's also a fashion standout.
I remember the first time I wore knee-high socks. It was actually against Venus Williams at Wimbledon, and I wore it just to wear something different. You have to wear all white at Wimbledon, but I was like, okay, I gotta get creative with textures, and so that's where I end up wearing my knee-high socks.
Your favorite look?
So I'm gonna give you a little throwback one that I wore for US Open. It was this cowboy hat. And what was I even thinking? And Justin made a point, he's like, yeah, but that's who you are. That's part of you took risks and you were colorful.
Bethany's husband, Justin, the two are inseparable. First connecting when Bethany flew to Phoenix.
There's a gentleman by the name of Jay Schroeder with Evil Ultra Fit, and he works with a lot of athletes here.
Justin was a client of Jay's. He was supposed to be your Phoenix connection.
He was my Phoenix connection. I was here with my boyfriend. We were staying with another friend. So I called Justin up, but he invited me over to the house just to kind of come chat. I remember knocking on the door. He opened it up, and it was like backward cap, tattoos. And if you look like Brett Favre, I don't know if you're Green Bay Packers, it's who I grew up in love with. And I was like, Justin? It was like we were the only ones in the room.
Like, what about your boyfriend?
But I know
And the rest, as they say, is history. 3 dates later, 3, they were engaged. Bethany is proud of where she is now, and she's not done.
For me, it's all about energy. And I don't know that I would have learned that necessarily had I not gone through some of my low moments.
We needed you in this energy, and we still do. So thank you for sitting down with us.
I appreciate it. Yes, thank you so much. Thank you.
She has such great energy. Keep your eye out for Bethany this tennis season because she's playing doubles and mixed doubles matches. Thank you so much for joining me on this Arizona's Family Original. One of my favorite parts is connecting with you all, so follow us on Instagram. That's where you're going to find more behind-the-scenes videos and sneak peeks of what's to come. We'll see you right back here next week.
What is the date that you're coming here, Jay?
I am there. I was just checking that. It's so funny you asked me. I was just checking that May 31st.
Okay, so I do want to warn you, it's going to be like 150 degrees, so all your positivity is going to go right out the window. Can't wait to go.
Thank you, yes. Thanks, Amanda. Love you too.
Oh, look at that, Amanda. You see? It went from I'm freaked out just to say hi. He just said he loves you. That's so
Amanda
cute.
said it first. Amanda said it so casually.
Who said I
just
love
like,
you
love
first?
you. Love you. No, thanks, Amanda.